All right, thank you one more time. The program's still on your television this morning on ITV. Yeah, so we are going to be looking at the just released results of the West African Senior Secondary School Certificate Examination, the revised edition of the 2025 released results. And we are so privileged to have an education consultant this morning, and of course a former chairman of NAPS. NAPS stands for National Association of Private Proprietors of Schools of their Northeast local government area in Edo State here. He is Dr. Robert Asoma. He's also an education manager in Edo State. So you're welcome to the program this morning on ITV.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you for having me.
All right. So, viewers out there, some of the information we are following, because I remember I did this same results, WAEC results on Wednesday. And of course, that was when we had the first released the result. But 2 days later, we saw the revised edition. And by Friday, the revised edition came on, and we now saw. So, where I have, okay. All right, so like what you have on your television now, you know, let's just, let me go to it now so that you will understand what I'm actually trying to talk about here. Now, what you have on your television this morning, let's see now. Okay, let's see, just, you know, trying to go back there now. What you have on your television this morning are 2 sets of results. You know, the first one has to do, let's see, the first one has to do with the first set that was released. You know, the first set that was released. So, on that, for that result, the student had marketing A1, then economics D7, civic education B2, English language D7, general mathematics C5, agricultural science B2, then biology B3, chemistry A1, physics A1. Now we had to. I mean, this particular candidate has the right to his privacy, so we had to block the candidate's name, his center, and of course his registration number, so that you won't see it. So this result was released on Tuesday, you know, thereabout. That was when this result was released. Now let's see the revised one now of this same student. All right. So if the PD would just oblige us, the revised one of this same student, that's the next one now. The students, when after the result was revised now, the student now had A1 in marketing, economics D7, civic education B2, then English language that the student had a D7 in. As at the time the result was now revised, the student now had a C6. That's a credit in English language, general mathematics B3, B2, you know, in agricultural science, biology B3, chemistry A1, physics A1. So that is that. Now we have a couple of other results like that. So by the time you compare the first results and the second results when it was released, then of course you will understand what we are really talking about this revised result. Now the information, like I was trying to explain to you, that the information we are following is that according to revised data presented by WAEC's head of Nigeria, that's Amos Dangote, at a press briefing in Lagos on Friday, a total of 1,239,884 out of total of 1,969,313 candidates who sat for the examination passed this time. You know, then the West African Examination Council has released the corrected results for the 2025 West African Senior Secondary School Certificate Examination for the school certificate, showing that more than 1.2 million candidates passed with 5 credits, including the English language and mathematics. Now, according to the revised data presented by WAEC's head of Nigeria office, Amos Dangote, at a press briefing in Lagos on Friday, a total of 1.something million candidates who sat for the examination passed. Now, this represents 62.96% of candidates, and increased when compared to the initial figure of 755 and 43 candidates. That was about 38.32%, which the council had wrongly announced on a Friday. Now, the reason given to this, why they had such a they had to make the correction, is that WAEC had earlier said that the serialized mathematics, English language, biology, and economics objective papers Then the explanation that they gave to that now is that there were discrepancies that they discovered in the grading of the serialized papers. And the head of WAEC said that the examination body discovered that a serialized code file was wrongly used in the printing of English language objective test. That's paper 3, that's the objective, the paper 3, the objective test, which resulted in them being scored with the wrong keys. Now, what that implies, when we say serialized questions, serialized questions means that you and I may be, answering the same question, but the options will not be as in option A, option 2, and all that. It will not be the same. So what WAEC did, the mistake they did, they used a particular answer, code to mark all the students that sat, all the questions, all the students that sat. So at the end of the day, that was what now resulted into the mass failure in this major subject that they serialized their questions: the English language, the mathematics, biology, and economics. Now, the first result that was released for the student that passed, it was their own code that was used to mark for all others. So thank God they discovered all these discrepancies and of course all these issues as they quickly responded to it. All right, so Doctor, you're welcome one more time to the program this morning on ITV. Now, how would you respond, Dr. Asoma, to what has played out? I mean, WAEC releasing 2 sets of results in less than 4 days. How would you respond? Let's start from there.
It's laughable. It's laughable for an institution as big as WAEC. It's not only national, it's transnational. It cuts across about 5 countries. This exam was done in other countries, the same exam. Now you're having that problem in Nigeria. We're not aware that other countries had the same problem. It's like a replica of what happened during JAM. And they are coming to apologize. Now, my problem with this whole scenario is, before you release result, you sit over the result. The management will sit down. If you need to revise the result, you revise it. You consider every aspect of that result. And for the fact that you are using a new method of questioning and marking, you should be much more cautious, much more careful in checking out that result and reviewing and re-reviewing before releasing the result. I fought WAEC seriously in rushing to release the result when they've not considered all the pros and cons that could have affected the result.
Yeah, but they apologized. I mean, to err is human. They apologized. They apologized.
There are some things you don't apologize for. You're joking with people's lives. If you check the statistics, about 400,000 people were now upgraded. These 400,000 children were already distressed, disillusioned, already stigmatized.
Their parents stopped.
Yes. Some of their parents were already saying, you are idolat. They were already being stigmatized. We are aware, during JAM then, somebody committed suicide.
In Lagos.
They were already being stigmatized. You are no good. Because some parents don't understand the variables at play during exams and all of that. Even the problem that engulfed the whole exam, writing the exam in the night. The children were practically forced. We, school administrators, we were forced to make our children write that exam in the night, which is against all odds, which is against all contemporary practice. So these are things WAEC should have considered before releasing that result, but they didn't.
Mr. Asoma, as you try to explain the situation, please help us make sense of another disturbing part of it. Because for me, when you say WAEC, I mean West African Certificate Examinations Board and all that. Now, it presupposes that more than, I think about 7 countries are parts of, 7 countries are member bodies of WAEC as it stands now. 7 countries in West Africa, 7, 8 countries, they are members of that body. Now, for Nigeria, because I mean, ordinarily you would think that if a WAEC result is released in Nigeria, then of course it is probably the same thing that is released elsewhere. So for Nigeria to now stand out now in this technical glitch, in this mistake and all that, so it means that maybe there is the need for us to change the name from West African Senior School Certificate Examinations Board to maybe Nigerian Senior School Certificate Examination Board, because those are some of the reactions that people are giving to the development.
Like I said earlier, it's laughable, and that's why I pointed it out. We are not seeing the same trend in other countries. It's only in Nigeria. So it doesn't make any sense. I can't make sense out of it. I have considered it, right, left, center. I can't make sense out of it. Why is it that it's only our children that have been affected? Why is everything in Nigeria so difficult? Why is everything in Nigeria so upside down? An institution we repose so much confidence in, coming out like this so inconsistent is funny. And for one thing, let me tell you something. I'm an educationist. Before you deploy a method or a system in education, you do what we call sampling. You want to test a new method. You're bringing a new method of grading, scoring, or examining. And you are testing it on widespread subjects that are so large. Subjects that are very sensitive. Subjects that are taken by everybody taking your exam. That's wrong in the first place. That's not sampling. When you're doing sampling in education, you don't start with everybody. You start with a small segment of the population.
Yeah, but that's why they started with some subjects, not all the subjects.
Why would they start with the most sensitive? They would have started with some subjects that you don't have so many candidates. There are the elective subjects. You can have physics. You can have literature. You can have commerce. Those are highly elective, where you have fewer candidates writing it. That's where they should have started from. So that if it has happened like this, it wouldn't have been so pronounced and wouldn't have affected the children so badly as it has happened now. But they decide to start with the subject that is taken by everybody. That's wrong. It's like square peg in round hole. If they are actually, living up to the name they claim or the name they bear, they should have known that they shouldn't have started it with all the major subjects.
Now, we understand that this examination now is probably going to be the last time that WAEC may have to ask a candidate to write exam manually. I mean, from next year or from the general certificate examination, that's the GCE now, that is built for October, November, or December, that a candidate may be asked to use the CBT, that's a computer-based model of examining students in Nigeria today. Now, for a body like WAEC, with this kind of development, do you think they still need to go ahead with that plan?
That's a big problem, the way I see it. They say John is doing that. They want to do. They examine more candidates than JAM.
Than JAM.
And it's not the same. JAM is basically an entrance examination. It's not the same. Here, WAEC is examining the candidate for all the subjects he is taking. They are not the same thing. Then let's also look at our level of computer literacy. I'm not sure our student population, we have up to maybe 30% yet who are computer literate. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but that's a problem on your part.
I'm not sure. It's not a problem on our part. It's a problem on the part of government.
But it's part of your curriculum.
It is a problem on the part of government. Let me put you through here. You know how much for one computer? You know how much for one computer?
It's expensive.
In countries where their government tell them you must become computer literate, they give grants to school. They supply these things to them. I'm not teaching my child. I am teaching your children, your citizens, the children who will carry on the future of this country. So you should give me grants or soft loan by which I can acquire these facilities. and ensure that I teach your children according to the specified curriculum. When you have not assisted me in this regard, you are even chasing me around with high taxation. How do you want me to survive?
Yeah, but again...
Then we can have one computer to 20 children.
Yeah, Dr. Asoma, what we are looking at is that the rules of engagement in your business between the federal government, Federal Ministry of Education, and you guys, you people in the education sector in Nigeria, is that you are ready to comply with the curriculum. I mean, that's why you are certified in the first place. That's why you are in business. So if you accept the curriculum that computer education is going to be taught, so why will you want to blame the government? I mean, after all, most times advertisement for admission is on everywhere around the corner.
Yeah.
You hear private schools, you know, saying that their school is computerized, they have CBT centers and all that. So,
you are right.
Is it not kind of speaking from two sides of the
No,
mouth?
sir. No, sir. No, sir. We have computers, but is it enough for everybody? Then you have maybe 10 persons to one computer. But if the government does its input, if they budget enough for education of their children, their citizenry, then we can have one computer to one child or 1 to 2. Now, the private schools are even trying. We are the ones who are teaching our children computers. Have you been to the public schools? How many of the public schools have computers? Have you been to public schools?
But some of them, they have.
How many?
Some major ones.
So then the problem again bounces back to the government. The government is the problem. They are not ready to do the needful. This is what we call politicization of education. It's what's killing education in Nigeria. They politicize it. There's no continuity. There's not even maintenance of school facilities. One government will come, procure facility. The next government will come, will not maintain it. It's not even about procuring facilities. It's about maintenance.
Okay, let's look at, because in every development, there is an advantage and disadvantage. Now, what some analysts are saying now is that because with this latest development in the past few days, we are now having more candidates, more students, having a credit pass in English language, a credit pass in mathematics, and I think most students now can now boast of 5 credits. So that is going to further stretch admission, admission capacities in tertiary institutions and all that. So the implication of that is the reality of what we are saying now. So what would you say about that, one? And secondly, how would you want to expect the tertiary institutions to respond to this?
Their response will not be good enough. As it has been from years past, the response have not been good enough because the facilities in our institutions are already overstretched. They're already overutilized. They don't have enough spaces. They don't have enough staff. The lecturers are not motivated. In fact, last time I checked, they are demotivated. You don't have people who are interested in becoming lecturers anymore. Let's start from the primary to secondary. People are no longer interested in becoming teachers. You go into a class now, you ask them, how many of you want to become a teacher when you grow up? No hands up. No hands at all.
Well, it's always been like that.
No, it's not always been like that. Teaching used to be a noble profession. We, when we were growing up, idolized our teachers. We idolize our teachers. But today, the reverse is the case. Teachers are being stigmatized. How do you expect that nation to grow? I was going to ask something else when we talk about the switch from manual to CBT.
Yeah.
The nation is not even ready for CBT. We don't have the facilities. Apart from the computers we're talking about, how much of Nigeria is powered?
In other words, we have power problem.
We have a very big power problem. Secondly, how many of these schools, let's start with the public schools before we come to private, because most private schools have power. They are wired. They can use generator. How many public schools have light in their premises or even in their school hall? There's none. Now, to compound the problem, let's take an instance of that day we did English language. There was no light. Most parts of town, there was no light. In the area, my school, we have our centers. Let me not just mention I know the name.
Yeah.
We didn't have light in that area for over a month prior to the time we wrote that English language. So how did you expect? We were using candle and torches.
That was what
all the neighbors brought their, even lantern. All the neighbors, they pitied us.
in your school?
Yes, because it extended to the night, into the night. So what do you expect? We don't have the facility. We are not ready. So if they say full CBT, well, maybe the government, who is insisting on it, will provide the necessary facilities.
All right, so like what you said, that the implication of it now is that admission is going to be more competitive because we have more students now that have their 5 credits, and most of the students also made their JAMB examination and all that. But let us look at it again, because at the end of the day, Nigeria keeps on doling out and rolling out graduates, you know, rolling out graduates and all that, at the expense of the difficulty of jobs and all that. All right. So I'll quickly go for a short break now. Let's take this break. We'll be right back. Please stay tuned.
TMI, every opinion counts.
Yeah. All right, so thank you so much right there. The program is still this morning on ITV. We're looking at the revised edition of the released WAEC results 2025. And the serialized subjects, you know, were estranged, the serialized subjects. The maths was serialized, English language was serialized, economics was serialized, and of course biology was serialized. 4 major subjects that were serialized. And, you know, that's the implication we had. WAEC also had a difficulty because it was a particular model, one answer model that they used to mark, you know, all, and that gave them the problem that they witnessed, the technical glitch that they witnessed. And we still have Dr. Roberts here, an education consultant and an education manager, you know, former chairman of the National Association of Private Proprietors of Schools in Ovia Northeast Local Government area. Now, we were about looking at the issue of Nigeria as a nation, doling out graduates every year at, you know, no job and all that. But that does not mean that you can overemphasize the importance of education, because whether you like it or not, an educated mind is an enlightened mind. I mean, you stand out in anything and anytime you do your own thing. But let's look at it. Where do we really need to start from? How do you think Nigeria as a nation can probably begin to respond to this huge and enormous challenge?
It didn't start today. I think this problem of doling out too many graduates without corresponding job opportunities actually started in the late 80s. Yeah, late 80s through the 90s, it was already becoming serious. And now it's like a cancer. And it's the same reason our children are going out of the country. You train your children, maybe you train one or so as a medical doctor or a nurse, so they can at least take care of you when you grow old. But what happened? Merely they're through with school, they're out of the country.
And some of them will never come back.
No. When they get there, they're given citizenship and this and that, they have their children. What are they coming back to do here when here have not improved? You see the problem? So sometimes training our children, I don't know whether to say we are not reaping the reward as we ought to, because they're all just living and leaving us the way we are. I saw a professor not too long ago with a wife, both very old, professor who is already retired. He and the wife are living in their house all alone. No help, no nothing.
But at times, some parents also encourage it. I mean, their children outside the country, the power of the dollar, the power...
Because they can't help their children in the country. And their children cannot even help themselves in the country. Yes. So they encourage them to go out. They look for money. They actually borrow money to take them out of this country. It's everywhere. We are not ready. We are not ready. What Nigeria should have been looking at now, there are three major things Nigeria should do if we want to get it right.
Okay.
Number one, power. Power. Number two, roads. Roads. Number three, security. If we get these three things right, investors will come. Nigerians who are abroad will come back home and invest. Then job opportunities will abound as needed.
The issue of power seems to be having alternatives. I mean, the solar energy, power system.
Can solar light, solar power, can it power a sawmill?
Really?
Can it power a cold room? There are a lot of things you look at. Even if you want to do that, do you know how much it will take? That man will sell all his belongings. The project will not be done.
All right, so what you're saying is that power, security, and
roads. Yes.
Those are the major issues.
Yes, those are our major challenge. I have a farm. I can't even go to my farm because we are scared of being kidnapped. Do you see the thing? Okay, so that again is -1 of those who would have contributed to food security.
Okay. All right. So still on the issue now. The WAEC has also said that some results are still being withheld. That they are responding to it and to see how they can still, release those results. I think they also still maintain the fact that some candidates were enrolled for by politicians. All right, now, so let's quickly take another break. I'll be right back. Please stay tuned.
TMI, every opinion counts.
All right, thank you one more time. The program's still right here on your television, and we still have Mr. Robert Arasova here, talking about the released WAEC results and issues around the serialized subjects in that examination. All right, so as we commence our descent, Dr. Arasova, now WAEC has said that some results are still being withheld because those candidates were enrolled by politicians. I mean, politicians in their magnanimity, though, they may always want to politicize so many things. So, but WAEC has responded that, hey, if the fees are not paid, there's no way we are going to release these results. So how would you respond to that?
It's a normal thing. It's a normal thing. WAEC is right to do that. Yeah, because they enrolled those candidates on credit with maybe promissory notes by those politicians that, hey, just enroll them, I'll pay you. They've been doing it in the past. We also enroll some of our children on credit in our schools.
In your school?
Yes. A child whose parent, oh, please help me. You will help. Because that child...
He needs that certificate.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
So we will enroll them and waiting for them to come and pay. Sometimes they come to pay, sometimes they don't. So WAEC, well, I hope that, okay, through this medium we are appealing to the politicians and those who enroll them on credit to try and pay up, because I think WAEC needs the money.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So lastly, WAEC has said that the examination body is still processing the results of 205,916 candidates, representing 10.5% of candidates who have one or more of their subjects still being processed due to some unresolved issues. Then efforts are on top gear to ensure that the results will come out soon. So today being Sunday now, so with effect from tomorrow being Monday, more results are going to be coming out. So we urge candidates that sat for the last examination, to exercise some patience, because from tomorrow being Monday, more results are going to be coming out. So Dr. Arasova, on a more final note, so let's wrap it up now, because in another, by 2-3 months time, we're going to be having another examination that is going to be conducted by WAEC. That's the GC, the General Certificate Examination, still by WAEC. Yeah. So what didn't they do well this time that they should ensure should not repeat itself, in the next few months?
They need to be proactive. They need to be much more proactive Yeah, they need to set their targets, set their priorities right. There are things they shouldn't take for granted at all.
Yeah.
Early preparation. They should make early preparation because we are aware what happened. A few days to that English, the paper leaked and they had to reset. They canceled that and reset. Then logistic problem, you know, bringing the questions to the various custodians, to the various states and the various custodians took time. So they should be more proactive. They should anticipate problems and create loops for proper feedback and damage control. Because this is what they did now is like a damage control, which came, it came badly because it has already like tarnished their image in the eyes of stakeholders, parents, children, school owners, and teachers and all alike. Even the international community, how would they rate this year's certificate? How would they rate it? So that's not good enough. They should be much more proactive. Take time to plan properly and envisage problem and create proper feedback loops.
Yeah, one aspect of the exam that seems to be so suspicious now is the speed at which WAEC released the result. I mean, you were part of the examination. Your school did it in less than 2-3 weeks. The result was out. I mean, for an examination that was done manually, majorly manually, and most of it was not CBT. I mean, most of the results were marked manually.
Yes.
But why came out under 3 weeks to release the results? Yes. What would you say?
Yeah, that's the same question we've been asking. Why the rush? It wasn't that the very next month they needed it for admission.
Yeah.
No. Why the rush? Why are you in such a hurry? You want the world to say, oh, you are very fast. Fast at doing what? Doing the wrong thing? They should have taken their time. They shouldn't be in such a hurry. Yeah, I think that's one of the things they didn't do right. Perhaps they were too much in a hurry. They should take their time, go through the result, review and revise it before publishing that result.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so I want to say a very big thank you for finding time to come on the program.
Thank you too.
Today, Dr. Robert Soma is an education consultant and, of course, an education manager who has been there. Now, he was the former chairman of the National Association of Private Proprietors of Secondary Schools now.
National Association of Proprietors of Private
Schools in Ovia Northeast in Edo State here. And it's been there. A very big thank you one more time.
You're welcome.
All right, so we'll take another pause now so that we bring another professor, into the game this time, still talking about education in Nigeria. But this time we are going to be hammering more on what seems to be a trajectory now. Yeah, what seems to be a trajectory now. We're having incidents of, glitches in our examination and all that. So it's a trend that we must begin to talk against. I mean, JAMB had that as an issue, and WAEC also had that as an issue. It's only the National Examination Certificate, the NECO now, that conducted their examination seamlessly. So what do we do now that the issue of technical glitch is creeping into our examination space in Nigeria?